welcome to HypnoLions Roar podcast. I am Wayne Walker. I am the host, and I am the carnivore hypnotist. So today's going to be an interesting show, interesting topic, and I'm sure that when I explain it, that many of you are going to recognize it. So I'll just go right into it. And this came up as a result of one of my clients who has a uh, family member who has certain issues, and it could be any issue. It could be addictions, it could be anxiety, it could be depression, it could be uh, anything that a person wants to overcome, and they tell you that they need to get better, that they want to overcome whatever it is that's affecting them, but under the right conditions or under the right approval for that from their point of view of how they approve that to get better, what they will do, what they won't do versus what they will do. And there are many times that when a person presents something that they want to get over or improve or correct, and they lay everything out, and then they tell you, no, that's not how I want to overcome it. It's conditional. But yet they can't come back to you and say, well, I'm going to overcome these issues with blah, whatever blah is. Okay. So it's a frustrating thing because you're being forced into a position to where you're just shotgunning things on how to get on how to help people, a person. But yet they know that they need to make corrections, but they're not going to do it this way. Even though that what they're being presented as has a high probability of actually helping them. So my question would be to that person is, if you're not going to pursue this and you've obviously already thought about it, what is your plan to overcome it, to fix it, to get better? And almost always the response is, well, I haven't discovered it yet. But yet you're rejecting something that's being presented to you because why? I'm confused here. So you can go through and you can go through here and give these things and waste a lot of emotional time, effort, in trying to help a person because they don't actually want help. They want to be in the pursuit of help because that gives them a feeling of activity or movement or possibility of making them feel better about themselves, but they're not actually going to get help or want help. Because if you help them, then they have to commit to that help, and that they also have to put in the effort to overcome it. And let's be honest, maybe they don't want to actually solve the problem because they would then end up facing responsibility, whatever that responsibility may be. Maybe it's as simple as it would force them to not working, but as long as they have the issue, they can say, well, I can't have a job or I can't work because this. But I'm looking, I'm pursuing. Or maybe it has to do with a person or holding on to anger or holding on to any number of emotions, failure. So it becomes a very interesting prospect of trying to help a person. Now, the other side of that is, depending on the person that's trying to help this person, let's just say person A, and person B is the one that's wanting to help because they care for the person, they love the person, they want to see them get better. But yet person B feels responsible for person A, and they're not getting better or pursuing help. You can never, you should not ever accept responsibility for somebody's getting help. They have to want to get the help. You can provide the conduit. You can provide the actual help in terms of pointing them in the right direction, but they have to want to get that help. It's like a person, if they're in the water and they're splashing around and they're yelling, "Help me, help me, help me, I'm drowning," and you throw a life ring out to them, and they say, "No, no, no, not that. I don't want that. But I need help." But the life ring is not what I want, so I still need help. It makes no sense. So, what is person B, the one that's trying to help? What do? Well, you have to leave people alone. You can be there to converse with them, but why waste your time going into a circle with somebody who actually doesn't want help? Because if you're presenting yourself as being the person that is feeling bad about not being able to help them, then all they're doing is using that to protect themselves and laying whether they get better or not at your feet. And like I say, it could be responsibility of a job, of where they live, because we have to face it that there are a lot of people that don't want responsibility. They don't want to be in a position to where they have to be the one responsible for themselves or their family. And that's a hard thing to accept. So, or is it? But what do? Well, you give it back to them. You say, "Look, this is where we're at. You need to have some movement forward, at least attempt to get some help. And so therefore, here's the conditions. And the conditions are, I'm going to give you a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, whatever that number is, to have some movement on this thing. Otherwise, you're on your own and you're going to have to cycle yourself out of here, whether it's in your home or whether it's your emotional sanity, whether it's you're providing money to them. Because if you're doing these things, you're not helping that person. They have to be responsible on their own for themselves, for their family. And too many people today, especially parents, are creating drains on themselves, that people that suck up all the oxygen out of the room or all the resources because they feel obligated to do that with this person. And that's not where you want to be. You see, relationships are a two-way street. If you're considerate enough that you want to help this person, then they should also be considerate enough to not put you through certain things. Because if they put you through certain things, that you're not comfortable with, that you don't want to do, or that, then they don't care about your circumstance. They're taking advantage of you. And that's a very unfortunate thing to have to face, because life is not conditional. You have to face life yourself. You have to live life yourself and get help. And there's all sorts of ways that people will reject that help. Well, I'm not going to do this because they've brainwashed me, or because they're going to take advantage of me, or because of this and because of that, and all blah 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 blah. Okay. I mean, there's no difference in if you're walking down the street and you see a person that's sitting down with a sign that says "We'll work for food" or "Give me money" or that, and you walk up to them, you pull out $1 or $2, whatever it is, and you give to them, and you continue to walk down the street, and the person that you're with says to you, "I don't know why you do that. They're just going to go buy drugs or liquor or whatever." But that's not a judgment for me to make. I have done my part, what I feel is my part, but my part is not to stop them, pick them up and take them by the hand, and to take care of them, to move them into my home so they have a place to stay. There's plenty of resources out there. There's no reason that a person should be on the street unless they want to be on the street, unless they have mental challenges. That's a different issue. But there's always ways around things. There's always things that they can do. They have to have the want to, that desire to not be where they're at, to wake up in the morning and say, "You know what, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I don't want to feel this way anymore." And do something about it, something tangible. So how do you force that? You can't. You cannot force it. If you're a person that has someone like that in your life right now, you're spinning your wheels. You're taking on responsibility for them of either being or not being. I had a person a long time ago. I heard this phrase, if you will, and the phrase is this: if you accept responsibility and credit for somebody's success, then you also have to assume it for their failures. I mean, you can be a inspiration for a person to get better, but you don't accept the success or the failure, responsibility or credit, because you're putting yourself in a position to where you're going to be there for a long time, and more times than not, you're going to be sorely disappointed, frustrated, and even growing it into anger. And then to top it off, if you try to move the situation along and give the conditions, the person then turns around and says, "Well, now you don't care for me, you don't love me, you don't this or that." And that's not something that somebody who actually cares for you would do, because they're looking at only their part of it, because they don't want to face it. So you see how this circle goes around and around and around, and somewhere along the way, this has to stop. Now, hypnosis can help that person if they want the help. And this is why I turn away 10 to 15% of the people who approach me for sessions. I don't even know if they qualify. And if a person, if I say here's the program, you need to schedule a free 30-minute consultation where you and I can meet in this format, just like this, and I can ask my questions. I'm looking for certain answers. I can look at the body language. You can ask me questions. I'm listening to your questions, which will tell me a lot. Or if they even follow instructions. Because if they're not going to follow instructions, my very simple instructions on the front end here, outside of anything else that I'm looking at, then chances are I'm not going to be able to help them. I'm not going to want to help them. I don't want to put in the emotional effort. And I'm just not going to do that. I've got other people that I can work with that actually will get results. So, it becomes, so you have to protect yourself and your family. If you've got somebody else in the home and the person that you're trying to help is just disrupts your household, then you're not being fair to anybody else within your household or your other family members, because you're choosing one over the other. And you didn't make no mistake about it. You are choosing one over the other, just like they are choosing whatever it is over you for their convenience. So what do you do? Well, what do you do? If you're a spiritual person, meaning that you believe in God, you're a Christian, then you go to the Bible. You go to what the Word says. And the Word says this: bring it to me, give it to me, and I will take care of it. I will answer the prayer. But so many times Christians do that, and then they actually don't release it from their grip. So what they're telling God is, I'm giving it to you, but I really don't have the faith that it's going to be solved, because I have to still hang on to it to make sure. And that will not work. You're either going to let it go or you're not. So really you're putting yourself in the same position, or basically becoming the same person that you're trying to help. But let's say that you're not a Christian. That's not your belief structure. And that's fine. How else are you going to do? What else are you going to do? Okay, well, you can just say, hey, you know what? I'm done with you, and kick them to the curb. Okay. Maybe you feel guilty about it, maybe not. But they're having to fend for themselves. That's what you can do. You can get in touch with medical facilities saying, come get this person. There's nothing that I can do. And maybe it's drug addiction or alcohol addiction or whatever. Solve it that way. But at some point in time, you have to pull yourself away from that. You have to unstick yourself, almost like the pieces of Velcro. You're connected like this. You got to rip that away and pull away from it and say, your life is your life. Your life is your responsibility. And it's time that you face that responsibility, whatever it is. And for you to reject help, reject the possibility of solving your issue, that's on you. You see, it's like PTSD and military personnel. And look, I was in the Army. I was in the military, so I'm going to speak very bluntly about this. When you have a person that claims PTSD, and PTSD can be gotten over. It's nothing that you have to live with for life, because it's a release of negative emotions and disassociation and so on and so forth. But if you've got a person who is benefiting financially because of PTSD, how motivated do you think that they are to actually get rid of the PTSD? Or is it just a calculation that they play the game, they go to this, and that's in order to maintain their financial benefit? And maybe that financial benefit is more than enough for them to live. I had a mother that did the same exact thing on disability. Was she able to work? Yes. She didn't want to. So she played the system, and she was paid for it. I mean, there's nothing that I can do about that, or they could have done about that. That's between her and whoever. And if she went through the process and they continued to give her the money, then that's on them. So it's just a matter of figuring out how to release that. Now, maybe you, person B, who has these issues of letting this stuff go, maybe there's some stuff there that you need to address with a hypnotherapist or me. Because maybe there's some things in your past that need to be corrected and let go so you can move on from this. You see how these things start tying in together? Because nothing happens in a vacuum. It's a very fluid situation. Life is fluid. It's not static. So you need to figure out how to put yourself in the best position to take charge of your life, to give the ability for someone else to have responsibility for their life. And whatever happens to them, that happens to them because they allow it to happen. But yet, there's many times where people won't let these things go or let those people go. So you have to figure out why. Everything is connected. Everything is connected. Now, if you want to be able to let this go, to give this person the ability to handle their own life, and there's something that you could do or someone that you could work with that has a high probability that will actually happen, and then you reject it, then there's not a nickel's worth of difference between you and the person that is not wanting to take responsibility. So, once again, that vicious circle. But you have to figure out what it is that you actually want. And look, if you're willing to, if a person is willing to be that person tied up to that post, and you do it willingly, then there's nothing that can be done for you until you get to the point of, hey, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. So you have to figure out what it is and how it is that you want to move forward. That's an interesting dilemma, and I deal with that. I wish I could say it doesn't happen a lot, but it does. It does. Specifically with parents and their children, their adult children. Been adult children for a while. I have it in my family. I've got family members that do the same exact thing. and it's like talking to the wall. They complain about it, but they don't act on it, because you're not doing these people any favors. You're delaying the inevitable, because they're either going to face life now or they're going to face it a week from now or a month from now or next year, but they will face it. They will be forced. They will be forced to face life, because it may be that you simply aren't there anymore to shore that up. So if you have anybody in your life that is like that, or that you know someone, send them this video, and maybe it'll make sense to them and they'll have an aha moment. Hopefully, maybe. You see, the reason that I do what I do is to help people, is to try to get people to see things from a different perspective, develop a different perception of things, because it's needed. People need help. They want help, but many times they don't know how to get the help. So here it is. Here's the help. The conversation is free. Get educated. And if you're that person, then you should want to explore the hows of, how do I overcome this? How do I get past this? On both sides. So, if you found this valuable, this information, if this process of what I've laid out for you, if you found it valuable, or if you found it valuable, excuse me, I've been traveling and I'm a little bit tired. Anyway, press the subscribe button down below. Let me watch my other videos and listen to the other podcasts. I try to cover things that are relevant to people. And if you want to hear about something, or for me to cover something specifically, send me an email. Drop me down. Send me a message through the system here, and maybe I'll cover it, and I'll give you credit for it. All right. Have a good day. Be good. Stay on track. Make good choices. Hit the subscribe button down below. See you later. Bye.